Hey guys, it's Josh from the Review Brothers here, back again with another solo review. Today we're reviewing Dunkirk. Dunkirk is a film that is truly something that should be watched by anyone and everyone, especially in IMAX 70mm, which is the preferred format that I would recommend watching this film in, because as Nolan has said, it's Nolan at his best, but not only that, it's the film format that he intended to make the film in. So before I begin this review, I would like to quickly say something about Dunkirk and what the format this film is intended to be watched in, and why watching it in IMAX 70mm is the best format and the best way to experience this film on a first or even second watch. The reason for why Dunkirk should be watched by everyone in IMAX is because Christopher Nolan has slated that this is the way he wanted Dunkirk to be presented, and if it's intended that way, then I think you should check it out in that format. It needs to be watched in IMAX 70mm. So with that in mind, I have decided to provide some quick fun facts about 70mm film. To those who aren't, familiar with it. 70mm screen format, or 70mm film, is a type of film that is actually known as 65mm film print, and it also allows a film to work with a larger format. What does that mean exactly? Well, I'll tell you. It has cameras that use larger lenses and allows the camera to cover 70% more of the screen. So the screen is stretched out more and you can do more visually. This allows the film to look larger and for the screen to be more enhanced. It opens up the screen, revealing more than 70% more of the film, hence the word 70mm film. So the prints look larger, the screen is more stretched out, and this allows the film to look larger on a larger scale. And when the screen is opened up, it's more revealing and it reveals more and more and more. And this format allows for long, wide shots, clearer sound, more clear and crisp images. And this also allows the visuals to stand out more, pop out at you than usual. And no, it's not 3D, it's 2D, but it's crisp and clearer 2D. Now with all that being said, let's begin the review for Christopher Nolan's latest film, Dunkirk. What can I say about it? War films. What truly drives us to watch them? Filled with strong violence, gore, and tons of flashbacks or backstories. That's mostly what every war film really is. They're sitting by the campfire and they have one of those stories where they're like, oh, I got an old lady back home waiting for me. No, this film doesn't do that. Dunkirk is a fresh and new take on the war film genre, and it's truly unique for that. It's both cinematically breathtaking and visually stunning. Now pair that with fantastic stacked cast, and you have yourself a recipe for a masterpiece. With tremendous performances, let's just say this, alright? You got tremendous performances, and with those, pairing between visually stunning and cinematically breathtaking, you have a cinematically breathtaking and visually stunning film. Now pair that with fantastic stacked cast of amazing actors with tremendous performances, and you get Christopher Nolan's Dunkirk. So what is it about Christopher Nolan's film that makes so many people believe that he's the greatest film director of the modern era? Well, for starters, for that argument, whenever you think about Christopher Nolan, you think of that filmography. The filmography that spans well over a decade. Films like Memento, films like the Dark Knight trilogy, Inception, Interstellar. The reason why he has a fan base that, is built on so many things, and why they care so much about his films, and why he has these people fanboying at every little film that he makes, is built on one thing. One reason, and that one thing and one reason you can always say about Nolan is that he's consistent. Consistent with what exactly? With making fantastic films. And the record shows. The fact of the matter is, and the facts to be true here, since the release of Memento in 1999, Nolan has been a big industry name in film. And this is because of his style of filmmaking. There is a definitive reason for why Christopher Nolan has become a top name at the film industry. It's for the care and exact precise planning and fantastic writing and directing ability that he has shown over the course of a long and storied career. I'm kind of losing my train of thought here. It was, a really good film. I'm a bit sick too, so I'm trying to, get with that. But he's one of the top names in this industry. And over that course of a long and storied career, arguably considered as one of the greatest filmmakers and directors of that modern era. He's become a key player in the film industry for years and years now, and whether you are a hater or a fan of Nolan's work, people still know that when it comes to Nolan, he always delivers, and Dunkirk, his latest film, is absolutely no exception. This is by far my favorite film that Christopher Nolan has done since Memento, and it's truly unnerving and gripping, pulse-pounding, edge-of-your-seat, nail-biting film that is half suspense thriller and half war drama. So, what does Nolan do with Dunkirk that made this film so great? It's very simple, the direction, the acting, but the true star of Dunkirk is the amazing cinematography, done by the brilliant Hoyt van Hoytema. Dunkirk is the pulse-pounding suspense thriller that has turned the war genre upside down like only a Nolan film can. Now, Dunkirk is directed by Christopher Nolan and stars Tom Hardy, Mark Rylance, Cillian Murphy, Kenneth Branagh, I hope I said his name right, Barry Keoghan, James DeCry, Aaron Bernard, Harry Styles, Jack Lowden, Tom Glenn Carney, and Fionn Whitehead. The story is about the evacuation of over 200,000 soldiers on the beaches of Dunkirk, and the film has three stories that are called, one is called, that take place over the beaches of Normandy, and the film's three stories are called, the first one is called The Mole, which takes place over the span of 1 week in film time. The second one is called The Sea, and the events of the part of that story take place over the course of a day. And the final story is called The Air, which takes place over the course of the film. But it's a film that, but in film time, it takes place over a 1 hour spanning dogfight in the middle of the air. So that's my thoughts and analysis on Dunkirk. Let's get straight into pros and cons. Now it's time for my pros and cons for Dunkirk. Let's start with my pros, then the cons. Like always, let's get into it. Dunkirk features some of the most visceral and fantastic and real visual storytelling. It's truly exceptional for that. And its cinematography, which I've said before is breathtaking, and I do believe it will win Best Cinematography at the Academy Awards next year. The acting in Dunkirk is excellent, and every performance in that film is so on point and perfect to a T. The writing is sensational, and the film is perfectly paced. Now for my cons for this film, I can't find anything wrong with it. This film, which is great, because the last Nolan film that I watched was Interstellar, and it was a very split film for me. So it's nice to see Christopher Nolan back at it again with a film that is fantastic, gripping, and never ever falters. Overall, guys, Christopher Nolan's Dunkirk is a phenomenal film that I believe is one of Nolan's best films in recent years, and is, in my opinion, an absolute undisputed masterpiece of filmmaking, of production. Just, if you're a film lover, you'll enjoy it. If you're a fan of war films, you'll enjoy it. If you're a fan of suspense thrillers, you'll enjoy it. But more importantly, in general, you'll enjoy it. Christopher Nolan has once again done it again, and he has made an undisputed masterpiece, and its name is Dunkirk. I highly recommend that everyone checks out Dunkirk, and try, if you can, to watch it in the way that it was intended, the way I watched it, in beautiful IMAX 70mm film. It's truly an incredible experience, and the only true way you can watch this film properly. Now, Dunkirk gets an overall rating of 10 out of 10 popcorns. Now, if you've followed this channel, I've never given that to anything. This is the first film on this channel to ever receive 10 out of 10 popcorns, probably for the next, I'd say, 3 years. I'm not going to give it a rating like that out. That comes once in a lifetime, man. And this film was a once-in-a-lifetime experience. And one of my favorite Nolan films, like, ever. I like Christopher Nolan. I didn't like Interstellar, the Dark Knight trilogy. I liked the Dark Knight. I thought Batman Begins was okay, and I didn't exactly like the Dark Knight Rises. I'm not a Nolan fanboy to any degree. I'll give you that, at least. I liked the second Batman iteration, The Dark Knight, which is one of my favorite films of all time. Up there in my top 50. I liked Memento. It's my favorite Christopher Nolan film of all time. And I like Dunkirk, because it's my second favorite Nolan film of all time. And overall, it deserves that 10 out of 10 popcorn. So let me know, guys. Have you seen Dunkirk? If you have, let me know in the comments below. Love to hear opinions. Love to hear other people's perspectives. Anyways, guys, you know the drill. Like, comment, and subscribe to the Review Brothers. And I'll see you next time. Peace.